Hi, this is Jessica Adams. If you like astrology and murder mysteries, how about our new audiobook, The Aries Billionaire?
Hi, I'm Rachel Wells. The Aries Billionaire is the first audiobook in my new series with Jessica, Leo Moon, Astrologer Detective.
You can order it at audible.co.uk now.
Leo Moon is the Hercule Poirot of horoscopes,
Though he's a bit younger and better looking.
and we really hope you like it.
Rachel is a Sunday Times bestseller, so I predict you will.
This is the Astrology Show podcast with Jessica Adams.
Thanks, Shane. This is your astrology and tarot for the week beginning Monday, the 11th of March. Aries, you have to make a decision blindfolded this week, or a key woman in your life does. The current stuck situation is not the right way to make it. Try to get rid of whatever is covering up the truth and the reality for her or yourself. Maybe both of you. You or she are rather stuck in this situation. There is a fair amount of defensiveness here, and there are really good reasons for that. Sometimes you have to be on the defensive to protect yourself and look after yourself, and this is true all for this woman. But at the same time, it is paralysing her or you, and the ridiculous thing about the situation, according to your chart, is that there is a terrific group behind you. It may be a group made up of several smaller groups, so one big network, or it may just be one really big, common, pooled resource. This holds really powerful potential. So have a look at what is possible for you or her this week in terms of seeing clearly and removing who or what is blinding one to the situation. Because once you see what's really there, or she does, it may be that you realise there's no threat at all. The coast is clear. Taurus, the project plan or idea needs to be planted on solid ground, Taurus. If you or anyone else gets carried away with the heat of the moment, it could actually work against the potential success of the brainwave. As an earth sign, you do actually know better than that, of course, but the way your horoscope is set up at the moment, you or somebody else is ready to be carried away by the moment, and there may be forgetfulness about a strategy or a plan. This needs to be grounded in the real world. It's never going to work where it is. It has to be exported, pretty obviously. But there's so much to be said for strategy and tactics here, and a bit of research and homework rather than just dashing off. Pluto is in and out of Capricorn and your third house of big ideas in 2024, so this does have potential. Gemini. Well, there are several ideas or concepts to take to a different region or country. As a natural juggler ruled by Mercury, you are mercurial and you can multitask. You're light on your feet, but at the moment it's possible that you are falling for the usual Gemini trap of being a little bit scattered about your thinking. You may be focused on one at the expense of two or three perfectly acceptable notions or plans, and distracted by the location and forgetting about the fact that you need to get your feet on the ground before you actually go out there with what you have to show or offer. There is a bit of a gold rush or a boom going on, according to your chart. You have Pluto in Aquarius in your ninth house of export, travel, and relocation. So that's quite potent, and something big is out there and other people are onto it. You are too, but you also need to have a bit of a plan behind you, a bit of research behind you, not unlike other signs this week, actually. Cancer. Well, connection and communication is harder work at the moment. You're hard to access, or somebody else is this week. If you are a woman, this may be your husband, boyfriend, father, staff member, or boss, and so on. If you are a man, this is more likely to be you, and you would be aware of being hard to reach, or you may be dealing with another male who is completely inaccessible to you. Either way, as I've said, connection and communication are the themes of the week, how to get them and why they're valuable. At the moment, there is a solution here, and it's a bit of a long shot, but it might just work. There appears to be some sort of a group, crew, team, club, or community in the vicinity And if you or the other person were to jump on board and engage, there would be a completely different journey ahead and a bit of a transformation too. That lack of access, connection, and communication would no longer be an issue. We are in a big week for groups this week, as we'll find out at the end of the podcast. And this crew, that's the best way to call them, is certainly there. Leo, I mentioned groups, and we have all this activity in Aquarius, the sign of the circle. A group is a wonderful thing because a group lends support and backing. So this feels like being Obama, who is a Leo like you, with the Democrats, or even Bill Clinton, another Leo, same political party. You can also look at maybe Mick Jagger, another Leo, with the Stones. The thing about a circle, though, is that it is only as good as its individual members. And although we clearly have a front person here, which may be you or the acknowledged team or group leader, there is a massive gap between just one person and the rest. And the issue here is understanding that the rest is not the rest at all. It is a collection of individual people who are all solid gold, who all need separate and individual attention. Attention must be paid one by one. If not, then your horoscope this week suggests that one person may not be there forever. Virgo. You can either stay stuck or watch someone else be stuck. The temptation to change is there because there is a large network just waiting. This really is Aquarius weather week, and the value of pooled resources between a number of people is very special, very tempting, and gives you or the other stuck person somewhere to land, somewhere to escape to, somewhere to journey to. It's a gateway. And yet nothing will happen if nothing happens. You or another woman in your world is, if you are a female, very much caught by feeling stuck, unable to see or unable to move. If you're a man, this may be your wife or girlfriend, your boss, your staff member, friend, and so on. The female of the species is very much caught this week, according to the horoscope. There is a kind of paralysis there because there is a lack of trust in the situation, being unable to take action because one doesn't actually know who or what is out there. The answer is to ask for outside assistance. Perhaps somebody can come in and help her or you see, and it's the perception which is going to change everything because there may be nothing there at all to be concerned about. Meanwhile, the group is waiting. Libra. The Ten of Cups is your tarot card this week, and it's a nice card to see. It points to one planet, Pluto, going in and out of your family and household zone, your property zone at one end of the year, but also the chart zone ruling a younger generation, children and teenagers, and their world too. Now, Pluto is empowering, so there is real power here if you want it and have worked for it this week. This backward and forward motion through the two sectors of your chart that rule a sense of place and a sense of belonging could help you turn the corner this week, Libra, in terms of the actual surroundings, the environment, the garden, the house or the apartment, but also the people, the extended family or the shared household. There is something pretty potent here, and it's something to go with. Scorpio. Well, victory, triumph or success usually show up when you have lots of transits in either Leo or Aries, and this week we have them in Aries. In fact, you have a whole stack of patterns showing up in your zone of achievement through hard work and effort. We have the Moon, Mercury, the North Node, Chiron, and a lot of asteroids there. In your chart, Aries rules your duty, service, workload and effort, your role and your goals. This week we have something pretty amazing. Two asteroids make a conjunction in this sign, Aries, which we do associate with action and energy. So Volcano is the big one, and that's strength, control, dominance through self-control. So you are about to triumph this week, and you've earned it. Sagittarius. The Seven of Swords is your tarot card this week, and it shows you getting away with it as you outsmart a group in the distance who are up to no good. At the moment, everything is about groups, as you've just heard, and also you'll hear more about at the end of the podcast. In any case, you have a lot of factors in your natal or birth chart which show some sort of circle, community, or collective of people. Strategy is everything. You are very nicely placed to nip in and out of a situation before an issue arises. In fact, you will be so far ahead of them that they won't even know that you've been and gone. The only issue here is that sometimes you can be too fast for your own good. So don't be too quick about this. Try and have a plan and plot your path carefully as you preempt something before they can even get to it. Capricorn. I've been talking a bit about groups this week, and your challenge is to bring it all together with one group of extremely different people. In your birth or natal chart, you have a stellium in Aquarius this week. A lot of Capricorn people also have factors in Aquarius in their birth charts, and maybe you're one of them, and that's the sign of people power. But the issue, of course, is differences. When you are all too different, it's like Monty Python, or it's like The Damned. How do you manage disparate personalities and enable everybody to join you in what could be pretty amazing? This is the puzzle of the week, because although your club, team, community, or collective allows everybody space to be themselves and is nothing but tolerant, there comes a point at which you can all be so different and so independent that there's nothing there to hold you together. It may be you as an earth sign who's got what it takes to change that. Aquarius. You and another person, just like you, but different, same species, different breed, must choose a way forward. You have the asteroid Diana in your zone of partnerships, double acts, duets, and pairs. Diana is about freedom, freedom to be yourself and freedom to go where you want to go. But the issue here is, of course, that there are two of you. This tarot card, and in fact this chart pattern, often shows up when two people have to decide if they're going to move into the same place or different places, or relocate for work or home reasons. Sometimes the path is very different, and sometimes you can come up with a way of combining paths. There is a bit of a challenge here. There is a bit of time pressure. It's probably financial, connected to business or property, so you can't hang around. But the truth about this chart pattern is that at some point you have to realise you're here together for a reason. You do have to choose how you're going to do it and on what basis. And being inventive and thinking laterally could be the answer. Pisces. Well, the Fool is your tarot card this week, and you may know it. It shows somebody about to leap off a cliff with a knapsack on their back and without a care in the world, while a dog barks a warning. There is another path if you want to move, travel, or relocate. This is really well suited to your chart this week because you have so much stuff going on in Taurus in your third house of short journeys and commuting. And one of those factors is Uranus, a symbol of the unexpected and, yes, the risky. So you need to do some homework and research before you even think about departing. This may be a trip now in March 2024, or you may be thinking about the rest of this year. Maybe you're just thinking about a different way of commuting or getting from A to B. There are really good reasons to pay heed to anything or anybody that does in fact bark a warning at you this week. There are other ways to do this. Now, your tarot for the week, which you can check on my website, is Aries, the Two of Swords, Taurus, the Knight of Wands, Gemini, the Three of Wands, Cancer, the King of Cups, Leo, the Nine of Cups, Virgo, the Two of Swords, Libra, the Ten of Cups, Scorpio, the Six of Wands, Sagittarius, the Seven of Swords, Capricorn, the Five of Wands, Aquarius, the Moon, and Pisces, the Fool. Natal chart aspects this week will really affect you if you have anything at all in Aquarius, and they include Pluto, Mars, Fortuna, and Venus, all in the sign of groups and friends. In fact, they all make aspects. I'll talk a bit more about this Aquarius weather later. Babies born this week are extremely Piscean, so they need an escape all their lives. As children, imaginary friends are quite normal, or they may have a connection to the spirit world. They get on well with bubble bath. If it's your birthday, then short trips are so fortunate for you from May 2024. And by June 2025, you will come to see that a neighbouring place on the map was always meant to be for you. Famous birthdays this week include Pete Doherty, who's 45 on the 12th of March, and Graham Coxon, who is 54 on the same day. Fellow Pisces Adam Clayton is 64 on the 13th of March. Howard Devoto is 72 on the 15th of March. Mike Love is 83 on the 15th of March. And Claire Grogan is 62 on the 17th of March. And I happen to know her. So happy birthday, Claire. Fated connections this week are Cancer and Leo. Cancer shows the person who needs to join or rejoin the human race and the crew in order to connect. And Leo shows the crew itself, which needs extremely clever and careful management. So what happens to us when we have Pluto, Mars, Fortuna, and Venus all in Aquarius this week? Well, Pluto in Aquarius is appointed to the whole year, 2024. This is very new. We've not seen it for 248 years. And it's really kicking in at the moment because it's not the only planet involved. Mars tends to speed things up. Venus tends to emphasize complicated relationships. So friends and groups are what it's all about. This may be a group that you are outside but plugged into, or it may be a club, team, circle, or other collective which you're very much a part of. This week, as you've seen, so many signs have to focus on the hive mind and how it works. Pluto in Aquarius every 248 years brings tremendous power to a group. Sometimes it's a religious community. So in the days of King Henry VIII, it became the Church of England, the Anglican Church. It's also true that throughout history, anytime we get a mass movement through a group of allies, we tend to see things overturned or turned upside down. At the moment, we are at the very beginning of this cycle, and it will take 20 years to happen. It's going to happen on the macro level, so there'll be enormous movements in your country which involve groups of friends coming together to change the world, and they will. But on a local level, on a basic level, getting you where you live, it could be about anything from Mumsnet to a football team. The issue with the Aquarian style group is always that everybody has space, everybody has to give space and request space, and everything works when there's tolerance and there's enough room to move. But issues arise whenever anything that's un-Aquarian enters the group. So when you see friendship used for reasons other than pure friendship, or when you see relationships becoming part of the group, as everybody knows, that's what breaks up a group household or sometimes a band. So this is a little bit of what this week is about, understanding how people can function together collectively as friends without any of the complications getting in the way. In addition to this, which is all happening in your birth or natal chart, you have this Aquarius weather going through a totally different section of your life in your solar chart. So for you, Aries, this is actually friends and groups, so it's the same. And you can double that message if you have anything in Aquarius. For Taurus, it's about success and rank, prestige, making it to the top, staying at the top, or deciding that this mountain is not for you to climb and you need another mountain. Gemini, it's about foreigners and foreign places, and entwined with that for so many Gemini people, the world of books and publishing, the World Wide Web, or academia. For Cancerians, this is about finance and property, charity and business, and in relation to second and third parties. So it's not your income and it's not your budget. It's more likely to be classically a marriage and mortgage or an inheritance, legacy, or will. If you're a Leo, then this transit is in your 7th house of duets and duels. So the duets, the couples or pairs, may be professional, they may be strictly business, They may be obviously marriages or de facto relationships, but they are always about balancing the scales between two completely different people who need each other in order for this whole thing to work. If you're a Virgo, then this transit in Aquarius, which is emphasized this week, is in your sixth house of health and workload, and the two go together. In fact, this is a bit of a double whammy because in astrology, Virgo rules the sixth house. You are all about service and duty, but your first duty is to yourself, to your mental and your physical health. So this year, and particularly this week, is about understanding that there is a big connection between the machine that you call your mind and body and the task that that machine is required to perform. And it doesn't matter whether it's housework or paid work. If you're born under the sign of Libra, then this transit in Aquarius is about courtship, the bedroom, babies, children, teenagers, and a younger generation, the heirs, spares, and pretenders to your throne, as well as the royal bedchamber. At the moment, you are going through this transit for the first time in your life, and it's very, very new, beginning in an intense way, but there will be a second important chapter in February next year. If you're a Scorpio, then this transit involving Pluto, your ruling planet, is in your fourth house of home and family, property, the household, your house or apartment, your town and country. So it's about where you come from and where you belong. Sagittarius, it's about internet and media for you. It's about your way with words, images, and ideas, and understanding the power that comes from mastering a corner of the internet or the media. Sometimes this comes from learning a second language. Sometimes it comes from finding the right avenue for your way with words. If you're a Capricorn, then this cycle is very much about finance. Pluto is now in Aquarius in your second house of everything that you own, earn, or owe. And right now, there are major questions here about control and power and how to use it. In relation to that, your values are extremely important at the moment. Aquarius, well, as you might expect, it's about you. So it's very much about your image and profile, your name, your physical appearance, your self-promotion, and the face that you present online. At the moment, you are being ushered into a new phase in your life where the external does the work for you, and understanding the importance and the power of how you project is part of the bargain. For Pisces, everything is interior, everything is internal. Nobody will understand the change in you because it's private and it may be quite invisible. It often involves religion or spirituality. It can involve therapy and counselling, hypnosis. It may involve a psychiatrist. It may involve the tarot, mediumship, or dream interpretation. It's intensely personal, as you might expect. At the moment, you are at the very, very beginning of this long transit, which will take 20 years to complete and utterly transform you on the inside. In the meantime, you are going to need more time alone. So that's what Pluto does when it's in transit in your natal or birth 11th house of groups and friends. But at the same time, there's a public story going on, which I've just mentioned, regarding your solar chart and what is publicly happening to you. You could take something very basic like the royal family, which people are really curious about at the moment, and see how it's working on a solar chart level. So if we go to the Princess of Wales, our Catherine or Kate, as a Capricorn, we see that the story is actually about money. It's about finance and property. It's about her value system, what she will or will not sell out for. And that's very interesting because to all intents and purposes, she has in fact disappeared since she was admitted to hospital. There may be another story going on here, and there probably is. You don't have to be an astrologer to figure it out. You have to look at the Middleton family finances and the awful situation that her parents were placed in last year. You also have to look at the fact that she married into one of the wealthiest families on the planet at the same time that her own parents were being put through a terrible situation with their own business. Now, that kind of thing, when you're in this kind of cycle, can cause all sorts of reactions. At the same time, the other players in this picture, her husband, Prince William, a Cancerian, what do you know, has the same transit in his zone of finance and property, business, inheritance, and let's face it, the House of Windsor is not short on that. So as a married couple, there's instantly a question here about where are your values? As we go through the year, you'll find that the cycles of time gather speed. And as we go into a cycle that we last saw with Henry VIII and the Tudors, we do in fact enter a period in royal life which is not unlike the Tudor story. Women will rise in the ranks over the next 20 years, and you can expect complete system change, which will of course affect the whole of the Commonwealth. People often wonder why astrologers focus on the royals. One very good reason is that we have a time, birth, place, and date for them confirmed and verified. That's what they call AA data, and you don't always get it. For example, we don't have it with Donald Trump. He's given us two completely different birth dates, so his chart is actually unusable. But the royals can always give us something solid to use as astrologers, which is why we so often look at them. What happens to them also tends to coincide with big turning points in history and what we can expect with Pluto in Aquarius opposite Leo, which is a sign of monarchy, is nothing short of a long, slow, total revolution, particularly in the power that they wield within Commonwealth countries like Australia, where I'm talking to you now. So what else is going on with this Pluto in Aquarius transit? Well, it won't really start to kick in powerfully for groups until Jupiter changes signs to Gemini, and that's May. That's something to look forward to. Jupiter is always growth, expansion, improvement. In Gemini, it's about the internet, the media, artificial intelligence, language translation, education, and publishing. And you put all that together with Pluto in Aquarius, the power of the community, and we are going to see the beginning of something pretty amazing with social media. At the moment, social media is still giving us what's left of Pluto in Capricorn, when a very few men controlled everything from the top. All the money, all the power, the plutocrats had it all and still have it all to some extent. But what happens when Jupiter goes into Gemini from May is going to be quite interesting, because it looks as though it will in fact be the collective and the people who control the money and also wield the power online, taking it back from the few or actually replacing them with completely new networks. An example of this can be found with the medium John Edward, who's currently set up his own alternative to Twitter and Facebook and the rest. In fact, it is its own community, and it's a closed-door community too. More of that is very likely, but the trick with Jupiter in Gemini is to understand that it will actually be language translation that wins in the end, and the way that we all communicate today will look very old-fashioned by June 2025, which is the end of the cycle. If you do have anything in Gemini, Aquarius in your horoscope, then you are going to find something big begins in May, June this year, which brings you and your friends and allies together with a completely different way of using the internet or the media that was not on offer before. That's what the astrology is saying pretty clearly. So that's it for this week. Thank you for listening. And thank you particularly if you're listening in Singapore, where we were top 5 last week. See you next week.